Hey there, welcome to Healthy TV episode number 80. I'm your host, Dr. John McPhee, and on today's show, we're talking about how to build a super strong core. I was having a great conversation over the weekend with a good friend of mine, and she was commenting on how, man, she just works so hard, but she just can't get that, that flat toned abs that probably all of us really secretly want, right? And it was interesting because for her, the idea of the core, the ab muscles as being kind of the core, was really just, all about just looking healthy. And I totally get that. For some, I've just always been really skinny. In fact, I dealt with the other end of the spectrum where I just could never gain weight. But I totally get the desire to have a flat stomach. I understand, and it actually is linked to health, to being healthy. But the core is so much more than having a flat toned stomach. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about today quickly. And all week, I'm going to be sharing my favorite kind of entry-level core exercises that anyone can put into practice and start to build a super strong core. Now, here's kind of the take-home points. I just want to hit some bullets here because the core itself isn't just the muscles in the front, right? The core is actually any muscle that attaches to your trunk above and below the pelvis. So it's all of the various abdominal muscles, a ton of different abdominal muscles, but it's also the big hip flexor muscles underneath the abs. It's all the muscles that attach around the back part of the pelvis and all the muscles of the spine as well. So all of those act as a big, I love this analogy, it acts as a big orchestra that when they work together in synchronicity, that it actually, they work to help to stabilize your trunk so that you can keep your spine safe. That's really the purpose of the core, is to keep your primary structure, right, your spine and then the pelvis and what's called the sacrum at the base of the spine, to keep that safe. Okay, so it's safe from damage. Now, when the core doesn't work properly, it really exposes the spine to damage, and over time, that can spell bad news, right? Not just like experiencing, back pain, like episodes of back pain and maybe that, pain down the leg like sciatica, but also it really means that your spine is starting to break down. And over time, that process of breaking down can lead to a bunch of problems. Like you can get some nerve pressure that occurs. It can affect the way that your mobility, so you can do less stuff as you get older, and all that. No one wants that, right? So a great place to start is to actually work on building your core, to have a stronger core, so that you can protect that super vital structure in the back. Because remember, the spine, it's not just there, it's not just a bunch of bones, it's there to protect, the spine itself is there to protect the wires that run inside that connect your brain to your body, right? Super, super vital for you to have a healthy, happy life. So the core itself, we want to really focus on things that work to create rigidity. And now here's the cool thing, is that when it works properly, the core has you can imagine like a volume button where it can go to almost zero. So like you're lying down and it's like really, like there's very little activity, to then cranking it up as needed depending on what activities you're doing. So if you go just from lying down to standing, then there should be like just a nice gentle tone throughout all the core muscles so that they're stabilizing, but efficiently, so that you're not wasting a bunch of energy. As you start to do more, we call it dynamic, but as you start to do more stuff, like let's say you go from standing to just walking, okay, the muscles are going to work a little bit more actively, but they still need to allow for that healthy movement. Now, go from that to like climbing a tree. So you maybe need a bit more, or like maybe climbing a tree is a bit, climbing a ladder, let's say. So you need a little bit more stability. So the muscles are going to crank up again. The volume goes up a bit more. But then if you start to add in like other stuff, like imagine like carrying weight in your arms. So it's like you get grocery bags, right? Then it has to ramp up a little bit more to keep that structure safe. And then you get even further than that, like imagine bending over and picking something off the floor. Now we're introducing some motion of the pelvis, like hinging at the hips. And that's where the core really shines, because it's there to create rigidity so that when you bend, the spine stays nice and stable. Okay? And all the way up to like, if you have to push something, then we need to generate force from here so that we can have a solid place to push with our arms or push with our legs. So the core itself is super, super important, and it's not for the reasons I think that what we've been taught. So the goal is not to get to do a bunch of crunches and a bunch of sit-ups to build up the ridges in your stomach. The goal is actually to work all of the muscles together so that you can be efficient at generating that rigidity. Okay, so that you protect your spine. So all week I'm going to be sharing with you one exercise a day. I'll be sharing all about the core. So check back in, follow me. I'll actually be sharing them on Instagram and Facebook. So follow me on either channel. And I really look forward to getting your feedback, because these are ones that they're going to seem easy, but I want you to try them, because I bet that they won't be so easy if you hold them for the full duration. Okay, so give those a go. Follow along all week, and I will be checking in. So post any questions or comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, take care.